All right, so today we're going to talk about systems of inequalities. So this is going to be very similar to our systems of equations, except you are, because of the inequalities and the shading, going to possibly have more than just one correct answer. So let's take a look. A system of inequalities is two or more linear inequalities. And the solution set, okay, where you find your answers, is the overlapping region of both inequalities. So basically, we're going to graph the two inequalities, and where the shading overlaps is where you will find your solutions. So if we look at the first question, we got y is less than 1/2 x plus 4, and y is greater than or equal to negative x plus 1, and we want to know which of these points are the solution set for the inequalities. So all we're going to do is graph these in Desmos. Okay, and again, you're welcome to split screen it. Okay, you guys know I'm not good at split screening. So y less than 1/2 x plus 4. Okay, there's my first graph. And greater than or equal to negative x plus 1. So we're going to do that in a separate box. All right, so again, hit your home button if your graph is not looking right. But where you will find the solution to this system, or the solutions, is where my red and my blue overlap. Okay, so it's this other section right here in the middle on the right. You can see them overlapping. It's kind of a different color. It's not blue, it's not red, it's kind of a purplish color. Anywhere in there, any point that you pick will be a solution. So these, since they're multiple choice, we're just going to type these 4 points in and see which one ends up in the overlapped shaded section. So what we're going to do is we're going to type these 4 points in, and you can just call them A, B, C, and D. Because remember, you got to check all of them, because sometimes it's not just going to be one correct answer with these. Okay, that's where it's different than your equations, is sometimes there will be multiple correct answers because you're talking about anything that's in the shaded. So we'll type in A, -5, 3. Okay, so not in any shading, so it's not A. And you can erase that or just keep going. Answer choice B is 0 and 4. Okay, now that's on, and it's actually it's on that red dashed line. But remember, if it's dashed, it is not a solution. If that line was solid, then that would be a solution, but it's not, so that is not going to be in our solution set. Now we try C. Okay, C is in a shaded part, but it's only in the red. Okay, it has to be where they overlap, so C is not a choice. So here's hoping D works. Okay, otherwise we need to go back and see if we type something in wrong. Okay, so D, everybody see my D right here, 4, 0. It's obviously in the overlap shaded section, so D would be my correct answer. And that's all you need to do. Now, just make sure you remember, you understand what that means. What that means is when we plug in X for 4 and 0 for Y into both of our inequalities, it will give us two inequalities that are true, that it will work. It will satisfy the inequalities. All right, so you guys try number 2. Type it into Desmos, type in your answer choices, see which ones work. Okay, so I would pause because I'm going to keep rolling. Pause the video, type it in, type your 4 answer choices in, and then when you think you got it, unpause, because like I said, I'm going to keep rolling so you guys aren't just waiting and there's no dead air. All right, so type it into Desmos. we got 1/2 x plus 13, so I'm just going to change this. And this one is completely different, so we're going to say 4x plus 2y greater than 3. Okay, so again, not the greatest graph, so I'm going to home button it. Still can't really see, so I'm going to zoom out a little so I can see the overlap again. Again, it happens to be on my right side. It's that purple shade. And now I'm going to go in and change all my A, B, and C. So -4, 1. Okay, so where's my green? So here's my green. Okay, that is not in the overlap, so that's not an answer choice. Now I'm going to type in B. And again, I didn't delete all this out. I'm working smarter, not harder. So there's B. It's also just in the red, so that is not a solution set. So let's do C. C is 1, -4. Okay, where's C? It's black. 1, -4. 1, -4. All right, probably got to scroll out a little. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's also not. It's only in the red. So again, coincidence that it's probably D, but let's verify that. Okay, so it's barely, right? If you zoom in, it's in the overlap, it's in the purple, okay, but it's really close, but it's still one of your solutions. Okay, it's not the only solution. Remember, anything in that purple shaded would work for your inequalities, but that out of the choices they gave us is the one that works. All right, try number 3, because I think you guys get the hang of it. So type number 3 in. Okay, look for the overlap. The overlap is where you will find the solutions. Okay, there are many solutions to these inequalities. Right now, they're only asking us to do one. So again, just working a little smarter. All right, so we got y less than 2. Okay, and I would do it, pause the video, type it in yourself, make sure you can get the correct answer, then unpause, come back, check, and make sure you're good. All right, so those are my 2 graphs. Again, I'm going to hit the home button. Excuse me. Now, I'm going to put in my new points, because remember, these are old. So -2 and 4. So -2 and 4 is my green. That is only in my blue, so that's not what I'm looking for. So again, I'm looking for the overlap, which is purple in my case. B is 6, 5. Okay, so that's over here. It's not in any of the shading. It's not a solution. Now I'm going to try C. C is -2, 4, or sorry, -2, -4. Okay, C is black. Oh, that's in purple. So that is a solution. But check D, because you never know. Sometimes they put more than one correct answer. So 2, -4, and that's red. Okay, that is not in the overlap. So this time it turned out to be C. All right, so now what happens when they already graph it for you and they don't give you the equations to go to Desmos? Well, then all you're going to do is you're going to plot your answers and see, because all they've shown, what they're showing you with the shaded is the solution set. They've already graphed them, they've already shaded for both, and then the only thing that they're showing you right here is where the graphs overlapped. Same thing in question 5. So they've taken a lot of the work away from you. So I'm just going to graph 0, -4. Don't go left or right, go down 4. Okay, that's clearly not in the shaded. 1, 2. Okay, and again, this is your starting point. Okay, if you need to, trace your x and y axis, but this is your origin right here. 1, 2, right 1 up 2. Definitely not a solution. -3, +4. Left 3, up 4. Would put me right here, give or take. That is definitely in my shaded section, but we're going to check. Last one, -4, -4. Left 4, down 4. Okay, nope. Okay, so -3, 4 would be a solution to those 2 inequalities, which we don't happen to have the equation for. Same thing for 5, just graph. Right 3 down to, or sorry, 3, 2. Right 3 up 2. Nope. 2, 0. So right 2. So that's actually going to be right on the line. Now you got to look at your line. Is it solid or dashed? It is solid. So remember, if it's solid, you can include it as a solution. Negative 2, 1. Right 2 up 1. That would be a no. And 4, 0. So right 4, we don't go up or down. And that would also be a no. So if they give you the graph and they don't give you the equations, then you just plot the points. Okay. And if you can't write on your screen, then you just plot your points mentally and figure out which ones are in the shaded section. All right, so this one is one of those fun ones. Which system of inequalities does 2, 7 not satisfy? Okay, so they're saying which one is 2, 7 not in the overlapping shading? Okay, so actually this is like a 4-part question because you're going to have to type in each answer choice and figure out if 2, 7 is in the shading or not. What you're looking for is when it's not in the overlapping shading. Because remember, to be a solution or to satisfy, that's how they like to say it, to satisfy the inequality, which means when you plug it in, it gives you a true statement, it works. For it not to satisfy, it's not going to be in the overlap. Okay, it's either going to be in one of the other shadings or it's not going to be in any shading whatsoever. So slightly annoying because we have to check all 4. Okay, just get into that habit of always checking all 4. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to do the first one. So I'm going to take all of this stuff out because that's not going to help me. All right, so the first one is y greater than 6x minus 5 and x minus 6y greater than or equal to negative 54. Okay, so again, you might want to just kind of where you can see the shading. So now it's like a weird color bluish green, the overlap, and it's down here on the left. Now we are going to type in 2, 7, so I'm just going to call it A. Okay. And so it's on the line. Is your line solid or dashed? Solid. So would it be considered a solution? Yes, right? Because it's a solid line. So it does satisfy. It does work, okay, for that. So we're not going to pick this one because it actually works. So now we're going to come back here, and you can just leave A there. We don't need to erase that one. We're going to try the next system. So 6x minus y less than 5. All right, so I notice, oh, it's on the line again, okay? And it's dashed, but a couple things are happening. Is it on the line where the shading overlaps? No. So that is not going to be a solution. On top of the fact that it's also on the dashed line, so that already takes it out of play. So this looks like it's going to be our answer, because remember, they're looking for the one that's not, but let's check the other two. So I'm going to type in y less than 6x minus 5. Okay, that was one we had before. And x plus 2y greater than or equal to 16. Okay, so again, what I notice is it's on the line. It's also on the line where the shadings overlap. Okay, the line is solid, so that would work. It would definitely work. All right, and so the next set, the only difference is they flip-flopped your inequality. So I pay attention to that so I don't have to type everything back in. No biggie if you missed it. You can just type everything back in. and this becomes a less than or equal to. So again, the point that we're looking for is 2, 7. Again, notice it's on the line where your graphs overlap. So since it's on the line and your line is solid and it's where your graphs overlap, then it would be a solution. So we were correct. The one that didn't work, the one that showed 2, 7 on the dotted line, and where you didn't have any overlapping regions, was x minus 2y less than or equal to negative 16, 6x minus y less than 5. So the only one it doesn't work for is B. Okay, and that was because it was on the dotted line, and it was not on the line where your graphs or your inequalities overlapped. All right, so next one. What value for x and y will satisfy the system? Now again, the old way, you would come here and you would replace this x with 6 and this y with 0 and see if you get a true statement. If you do, then you do the same thing here. See if that's a true statement, and if it works for both of your inequalities, that would be your answer. That's what they mean by satisfy. Okay, but it's faster for us to type it into Desmos. Okay, it saves you a lot of work and a lot of time, and so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so if this is going to satisfy the system or work for your system of inequalities, then it will be in the overlapping. Remember, satisfying the system is a solution. The solutions have to be in the area that your your inequalities overlap. So type both of these in. There's the first one, and then this is very similar, except it's minus 3y, and it's greater than 12. Okay, now can't really see it. I'm gonna zoom or home it, and then I'm actually kind of maybe center it a little bit so I can see it. So it's this darker purple. That's the overlap. Okay, you got the black shading, you got the purple shading. All your solutions, all your answers that will satisfy this system are in the dark purple. So now we're just going to type in, okay, the first one said x is 6 and y is 0. So that's an ordered pair. And so you're just going to say a equals 6 comma 0 and see where it graphs. All right, so would that be a solution? No, because it's on the dotted line, so we can't include it right from the beginning. And it's also not part of your shaded area, your overlap in the dark purple. So that one is not going to work. So then I'm going to try the next one. The next one was 1, x is 1, and y is negative 1. Now you can't type it in as x equals 1, y equals negative 1, because Desmos will not do it as an ordered pair. Oops. Okay, got to say b equals. There we go. 1, negative 1. And that graphs, except it's only in the light purple. So is that a solution? Is it going to satisfy your system? Nope, because it needs to be where they overlap. So, and I leave them in so I can be sure, okay, that I can see all of the options that I had and make sure I pick the right one. So the next one said x is 6, y is negative 2. Okay, there that is. It's on the line. The line is solid, so yes, we could include it. Is it in the area where the shadings overlap? Yes. Okay, it's part of that dark purple, so I'm going to go with that, but I'm also going to check the last one just to make sure. So they said x is 0, y is 2, and so that's right here. Okay, now, yes, it's on the line, so technically we could include that as a solution to our inequality. The problem is it's not where your graph or your shading overlaps. So that's why this is not going to satisfy. Okay, just make sure you guys understand why this one doesn't work and this one does. This 0, 2 doesn't work because it's only with the light purple shading. This 6, negative 2 works because the line is solid and it is part of that darker purple, where your shadings overlap. Remember, the solution sets that satisfy or that are solutions to your system for inequalities is where your shading overlaps. So it's 6, -2. So x is 6, y is -2. Again, to type these into Desmos, you had to change all of these to ordered pairs so that you could get them into Desmos and get Desmos to graph them for you. All right, so last one. Identify the points that are in the solution set to the system of inequalities shown. Okay, so they're giving us the system. Remember, system's just a fancy word for it. We're giving you more than one. And so we're going to type that in, and then we're going to have to type these 6 points in. Okay, and I would type all of them so I can see them on my graph all together. And so I can make sure that I pick, because this is one of those, don't pick one answer and be done. You need to look at all your possibilities and type in every one. And that's why even on the multiple choice, we tell you guys, put every single answer choice in. Okay, don't just go, oh, I got the answer, and you didn't type in the 2 other answer choices. Type them all in, make sure you got what you need before you move on. So again, I'm just going to take all of this out, start over, type in 6x less than 3y minus 24, 10x plus 5y greater than -15. And again, I would home it so it's a little bit more centered. You can even center it more if you don't like that. And then just type in. Okay, give these all, don't use X and Y, use whatever whatever letters you want. -4, 6 is the first choice. Okay, is that in your overlap? Absolutely. So that is a solution to your system. Okay, you got black, you got red, and then you got that darker red, which represents the overlap of your shading. That's where your solutions are. So we're not done. It's not one and done. Check everything. So now let's do 0, 8. Okay, there's 0, 8. It's part of the overlap. Is your line solid or dotted? Solid, so that would also be a solution. Now we're going to do the next one. So -1, 0. Okay, is that in the overlap shading in the darker red? That would be a no. So that is not a solution set. Not part of the solution set. So now we're going to try 1, 9. So see, leave them on your picture. Don't start deleting them. You want to see them, because when you're done, you can just click and see the numbers, and you'll know which, if you forget, which answers. So the one we just did, 1, 9, that is only in the red, the light red. So it's not in the overlap. So now I'm going to try -7, 11. So, oh, yeah, don't use E. See how it gave me a warning symbol there? The Desmos uses E for something else, so let's use F. So F is -7, 11. Okay, not in the shading, not an answer. And last but not least, G. -3, 2. G is blue. Okay, not in your overlap, so not an answer. So after all of that, we only came up with 2 answers. Okay. -4, 6 would work, and 0, 8 would work. So again, if you wanted to do it the long way, then you'd plug in X and Y, make sure it gave you a true inequality for both. Okay, if it doesn't work for one, then it's not a solution. All right, if you have any questions, let us know.